In the unforgiving world of professional boxing, where each punch carries the weight of nations and every round can transform legacy into legend or relegate greatness to memory, a single night can define eternity. On December 24th, the city of Tokyo will bear witness to such a night. Within the gleaming walls of an arena charged with anticipation, two undefeated warriors will enter the ring, one looking to defend a throne forged in the fire of knockout fury, the other aiming to rewrite the very blueprint of what's possible. It will be a moment when noise gives way to silence, when doubts evaporate under the heat of leather colliding with flesh, and when history opens its doors to whoever dares to take it by storm. Naoya, the monster, Inoue, the pride of Japan, the living embodiment of power refined through precision, steps into that ring as more than a champion. He enters as an artist of destruction, a national treasure, and arguably the most complete fighter of his generation. With 28 wins, 25 of them by knockout, Inoue's career has been a highlight reel of brutality and brilliance, a showcase of how sheer violence, when executed with grace, becomes something resembling poetry. But he is more than statistics, more than belts, more than the adulation of millions. He is a force, calm, calculated, and cold-blooded inside the ropes. Across from him, daring to tread in the lion's den, stands Sam Goodman, the Australian technician, a silent storm who has earned his place not by roaring headlines or viral knockouts, but through methodical excellence, unwavering focus, and the kind of quiet grit that whispers louder than any scream. At 19-0, Goodman's record may not glitter with the same ferocity as Inoue's, but what it lacks in flash, it makes up for in fundamental brilliance. Goodman is not stepping into the ring to survive. He is stepping in to conquer. He is not here to be part of another Inoue highlight. He's here to rupture the narrative, to silence the skeptics, and to claim the crown for his country and for himself. This is not just another title defense for Inoue. It is a fight steeped in meaning. For a man who has already claimed undisputed status in 2 divisions during the 4-belt era, a feat achieved by only the most rarefied of boxers, this bout is a chance to reinforce his place among the pantheon of immortals. Inoue is already a living legend, but he fights like a man forever chasing an invisible bar set only by himself. Every time he steps into the ring, he brings not only the belts, the WBC and WBO super bantamweight titles in this case, but also the weight of his nation's expectations and the standard of excellence he has established. His nickname, the Monster, is not a product of theatrics or marketing. It was born out of fear, real fear, etched into the faces of those who dared to stand across from him. Yet, what makes Inoue truly terrifying is not the scowl on his face or the intensity in his eyes. It's what he does when the bell rings. His movement is surgical, his angles supernatural. His fists, small as they are, carry the thunder of gods. They arrive without warning, with velocity and placement that strips away the opponent's will to fight. Each punch is thrown not in hope, but in certainty. He is a master of distance, a demon of rhythm, and a scholar of timing. And perhaps more significantly, he carries his knockout power through the divisions as though physics were an afterthought. Where others fade as they rise, Inoue only seems to get more dangerous. His dominance is not limited to power alone. Inoue fights with a rare blend of artistry and aggression, calculation and carnage. He reads opponents as though decoding ancient texts, measuring their reactions, studying their rhythm, and then dismantling their strategy piece by piece. Fighters don't just lose to Inoue. They're unraveled. They walk in with belief and leave in bewilderment. His adaptability is otherworldly. His capacity to adjust mid-fight is what separates him from merely great fighters. That intellect, housed inside a body sculpted by decades of discipline, is what makes him unique. But Tokyo will not be hosting a coronation. This is not a victory lap. Because across the ring, Sam Goodman brings with him an entirely different kind of threat, one that doesn't announce itself with bravado or fanfare but waits patiently for its moment to strike. Goodman is a fighter built from the ground up, crafted not in the limelight but in the shadows of hard work and sacrifice. He turned professional in 2018 and chose a path far more difficult than most rising contenders. While others padded records against easy opponents, Goodman walked into danger willingly, looking for challenges that would sculpt him into a complete fighter. He is, above all, a craftsman. Every movement, every combination, and every adjustment is rooted in discipline. He isn't chasing highlight reels, he's pursuing perfection. From his early career to now, Goodman has been a blueprint for long-term development. He has faced adversity, welcomed resistance, and emerged sharper every time. His resilience is not theoretical, it has been tested in real time, under real pressure. In May 2022, facing Japan's Fumiya Fuse, he was knocked down in the third round, and the entire arc of his ascent seemed in peril. But he rose, both literally and metaphorically, and dominated the rest of the fight. It was a moment that proved his heart was every bit as formidable as his hands. Later that same year, he stepped up against Juan Miguel Alord, a seasoned veteran and former title challenger. Goodman delivered a dismantling so thorough that the referee had no choice but to call a halt in the 8th round. Then came Jason Cooper, a strong, capable fighter whom Goodman outclassed with clinical precision. The scorecards told the story: 99-91, 99-91, 100-90. These weren't competitive bouts. They were exhibitions of dominance. His resume was growing, but more importantly, his performances were evolving. With each fight, Goodman was shedding the label of prospect and assuming the title of problem. In March 2023, he faced his sternest test yet in former world champion T.J. Doheny. It was the kind of bout that separates contenders from pretenders. Goodman passed that test with elegance and violence, dropping Doheny in the third round and dictating every moment thereafter. The scorecards, 98-92, 97-90, 100-89, were not just numbers, they were a statement. Goodman was no longer on the rise. He had arrived. But it was the IBF eliminator against Rais Alim that sealed his position as the next in line for Inoue's throne. Alim, a whirlwind of unorthodox movement and rapid combinations, posed a nightmarish challenge. It was a grueling contest, a bout fought in inches and decided by resolve. But Goodman, ever the student, adapted. He rallied in the later rounds, using timing and tactics to steal momentum and edge out a split-decision victory. The win crowned him Mr. Mandatory and booked him a ticket to destiny. And yet, the Australian wasn't satisfied. Where others would have rested on their laurels, Goodman returned to work. He took 4 more fights, not because he needed to, but because he understood that greatness demands constant refinement. Against Miguel Flores, he was a technician, cold, clinical, devastating. The scores, 118-107, 120-105, were not competitive. They were dominant. His December outing against Juanma Jangmo wasn't as explosive, but it served a purpose. It was another brick in the wall of consistency that defines Goodman's approach to the sport. Now, he steps into a ring not just with a man, but with a myth. Facing Naoya Inoue in Tokyo isn't merely about technique or preparation. It's about confronting a legend in his own land, in front of fans who worship him, in a country that views him not merely as an athlete, but as a national hero. Goodman will be booed, ignored, and doubted. But that's the price of chasing greatness. Goodman doesn't flinch. He doesn't bark back. He simply steps forward. His eyes are fixed not on the atmosphere, but on the task. And the task is monumental. Inoue doesn't offer second chances. One mistake and the fight could end. Goodman must fight the perfect fight, one of balance, rhythm, and disruption. He must jab like a piston, move like a dancer, and react like a chess master. He must weather the storms and deny Inoue the scent of blood. Because when Inoue smells vulnerability, he descends like a predator, precise and merciless. The intrigue of this matchup lies in its clash of philosophies. Inoue is chaos in control, relentless but composed, explosive but intelligent. Goodman is the opposite, methodical, balanced, and cerebral. Inoue seeks to destroy, Goodman seeks to dismantle. Inoue looks for quick endings, Goodman prepares for drawn-out wars. It's a duel of fire and ice, instinct and intellect, and terror and tenacity. This isn't just a fight. It's a question posed to the sport itself. What wins, the fury of a legend or the poise of a tactician? The setting only adds to the mythology. Tokyo, a city of lights, culture, and reverence, will transform into a battleground. The crowd will be deafening with every punch Inoue lands. The air will tremble with tension. Goodman will have to silence not just the fans but also the aura of invincibility that surrounds Inoue. He must fight with blinders, immune to the noise, immune to the reputation across from him. But here's the truth. Inoue, as dominant as he is not without vulnerability. He has been hit. He has been hurt. He has been forced to think on his feet. It's what makes him even more dangerous, his capacity to adapt. That's the challenge Goodman faces. He must not only fight a near-perfect match. He must keep Inoue from solving the puzzle mid-fight. Because once Inoue finds the answer, the question becomes irrelevant. December 24th is not just a date. It is a reckoning. It is a moment where two unbeaten men bring their stories, their countries, and their souls into the ring, and only one will emerge unbroken. If Inoue wins, he adds another chapter to a story already gilded in greatness. If Goodman wins, he shakes the foundations of the sport, alters narratives, and launches himself into history and boxing. Nothing is promised. Power doesn't guarantee victory. Reputation doesn't shield from pain. On that night in Tokyo, the lights will rise, the bell will ring, and two men will walk to the center. One will leave with more than just belts. He will leave with history in his grasp.